In a world obsessed with AI, electric vehicles, and advanced technology, there is one resource quietly powering it all, yet most people have never heard of it. It's called rare earth. Without rare earth, smartphones cannot function properly, electric vehicles lose efficiency, advanced military systems weaken, and the global tech industry begins to slow down. But here's the bigger question. What happens when the world becomes dangerously dependent on one country for materials this critical? So in this video, we'll explore why more countries are racing to secure rare earth. Stay with us. The term rare earth refers to a group of 17 chemical elements consisting of 15 lanthanides, along with scandium and yttrium. Despite the name, these elements are not actually rare. They exist in many parts of the world, across both large and small countries. However, they are not found in concentrated deposits that are easy to mine. Instead, they are mixed with other minerals in the earth. The real challenge is not their existence, but the difficulty of separating them. These elements have very similar chemical properties, making the process of isolating each one extremely complex and time-consuming. Unlike mining iron or coal, rare earth processing involves multiple stages and cannot be done quickly or simply. This complexity makes processing costs extremely high. It also requires specialized technology, large amounts of energy, and significant use of chemicals. As a result, the true value of rare earth depends not just on who has it, but on who can process it efficiently and at scale. This is why the rare earth industry is often associated with high levels of environmental pollution. The separation process produces hazardous waste that can damage land and water if not managed properly. Because of this, many countries have chosen to avoid developing rare earth industries domestically. Yet at the same time, demand for these materials continues to rise alongside global technological growth. This contradiction has fundamentally changed how rare earth is viewed at the international level. In recent years, rare earth has increasingly been seen as a strategic resource. This shift is driven by a major transformation in how modern technology is developed and used. Today, almost every key sector of the global economy depends on these materials, directly or indirectly. One of the biggest drivers is the rapid transition to electric vehicles. Electric motors rely on rare earth components to deliver efficiency, power, and durability. As governments around the world set targets to reduce reliance on petrol and diesel engines, demand for rare earth has surged alongside EV production. In the renewable energy sector, technologies such as wind turbines and modern power systems depend on rare earth to generate energy efficiently and reliably. Countries committed to green energy understand that success depends on a stable and continuous supply of raw materials. Rare earth is also increasingly important in the semiconductor industry. While chips are primarily made from silicon, rare earth elements are used in manufacturing processes, production equipment, and supporting components that enable high-performance miniaturized chips. Without stable supply, chip production becomes more expensive and less efficient, affecting the entire tech industry. National security is another critical factor. Modern defense systems, including radar, satellites, communication systems, and advanced military technologies, rely heavily on rare earth. Any disruption in supply could directly impact a country's defense capabilities. Recent global supply chain disruptions have also served as a wake-up call. Health crises and geopolitical tensions have shown how dangerous it can be to depend on a single source. As a result, rare earth is no longer seen as just an industrial material, but as a strategic asset that must be secured. In the global rare earth supply chain, advantage is not determined by who owns the resources alone, but by who controls the entire process from start to finish. And this is where China stands apart. China does have large rare earth reserves, but that alone does not explain its dominance. Other countries also possess significant deposits. The difference lies in long-term strategy and consistent execution. Since the late 20th century, China has viewed rare earth as both an industrial and strategic asset. While many countries shut down mines or moved heavy industries abroad due to cost and environmental concerns, China took a very different approach. It invested heavily in mining, research, processing, and downstream industries, even when early returns were limited. One key factor behind China's success is its willingness to bear environmental costs. As mentioned earlier, rare earth processing produces hazardous chemical waste and significant pollution. Many countries were unwilling to face public backlash and environmental cleanup costs. China, however, accepted these risks as the price of building industrial dominance. Over decades, this approach allowed China to develop unmatched expertise and processing capacity. More importantly, China did not stop at mining. It built a complete industrial chain, from extraction and refining to the production of high-value products such as rare earth magnets, electronic components, and specialized industrial materials. Each stage added value and strengthened China's control over the global market. This created a reality that is difficult for the world to avoid. Many countries mine rare earth, but lack the capability to process it. As a result, raw materials are sent to China for processing. China then sells finished or semi-finished products back to the world at significantly higher value. In this chain, the greatest value lies in processing and manufacturing, not extraction. Today, the majority of the global rare earth supply chain is effectively in China's hands. When processing and production are concentrated in a single country, the supply chain becomes unbalanced. In the case of rare earth, this makes China a global choke point, a critical node that determines the flow of supply to industries worldwide. This position is often portrayed as a result of coercion or economic pressure. But the reality is far more complex. China did not force the world to depend on it. That dependence developed gradually, shaped by the decisions of other countries, driven by economic priorities, cost considerations, and environmental policies. For years, the world demanded cheaper and more accessible technology. Smartphones needed to be affordable. Electric vehicles had to be competitively priced. Renewable energy had to scale rapidly to meet climate goals. All of these demands required a supply of raw materials that was stable, affordable, and available at scale. And China was the only country able to meet those conditions. What is clear is this: the race for rare earth reveals how the modern world is built on materials that are rarely discussed, yet absolutely critical. Through long-term planning and control over the full production chain, China has positioned itself at the center of the global rare earth supply chain, and the world, for now, has little choice but to accept it.